Hello and welcome to part 2 of my videos. The first video I talked about was starting and ending and starting in a new thread. This time I'm going to show you another area of doing the same thing, but this time it's midway through your stitching. So the best way I find to start and end a thread is when you're looking at your project, look at the length of your thread and think, now I really would like to bring a new thread in when I'm doing the foundation threads, not while I'm in the middle of a needle-lace bar. It's much easier to disguise the tail in a foundation thread and also bring it in as a foundation thread. This will make more sense when I show you this particular process. So I finished my needle-lace bar here. I do have a reasonable amount of thread, but not enough to finish that whole, I don't think enough to finish that whole arc. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm going to now finish off this thread and bring in a new thread for you. So first of all, I'm going to go up. I'm going to do up in my arc. I'm going to do my first layer, and then I'm going to go through here, through some stitches on there to secure it. That means it's going to stay there. Then I'm going to go back under this one here. And I've got 2 foundation threads here, and I'll just loosen them off a little bit so I get a nice arc. And then I'm going to go through my card to the back and leave the tail dangling. Okay, I'm going to get a new thread. And once again, a nice long thread so that I don't run out in a hurry. But it's as I said before, it needs to be a manageable length of thread that you won't twist. And if it does twist, you can just drop your thread and let it untwist naturally. And that helps to stop the knots from happening. Okay, do my knot. Something's gone wrong here. Okay, do my knot again. Here we go, much nicer. All right, so I have now finished here in this point here, so I'm going to come back up in that point that, whoops, closer to it there, leave my knot underneath, slide underneath that foundation, supporting thread stitch there, sorry, and then I find it easier to go through a stitch that's already there. Okay, so now I'm going to do my needle lace along this bar here, or this area here, which is foundation threads, so I pull it there. And when I pull my stitches, I like to pull them in the direction that they're going to sit. So I'm pulling them towards me as I stitch along here. Manipulate it so it sits there. Nice even tension as I'm going along. Working my way up to the top where I'm going to put my Venetian Picot. Couple more. And now I've reached the top where I want to put my Venetian Picot. So a Venetian Picot is basically a bar. We create a bar and then we do 2 sidewards facing blankets, buttonhole stitches. So first of all, you go ahead as if you're going to do a normal stitch, a normal buttonhole stitch, and you pull it down so that it sits like that with a big loop. You grab a piece of cotton, and I'm using a piece of just ordinary machine cotton, and I'm going to use this like a lever. And I like to use a contrasting colour so that you can see it against the white thread. So once you put it through that loop and hold it like a lever, you pull the white thread and you will see that that starts to come a little bit closer in. And the buttonhole, I don't want you to pull that buttonhole stitch close to the foundation threads, I want you just to leave it so that you've got a little loop like so there, and then pop that white thread on top of your orange thread. So you're holding the orange thread and the white thread together. And if you look very carefully here, I've got a little bit of a gap here. Now, I might just zoom in and show you so that you can see a little bit closer. You can see that there is a little bit of a loop sitting on the end there, and that orange thread is holding it quite taut. So that is my new bar now. That little loop is going to be squashed together with some buttonhole stitches. And the way to do that is to put your thread in front of you, and you put your needle in the direction you're going as well. So when you take it underneath the orange thread and the white thread and over the top of that white loop thread in front, just let go, hold the orange thread tight and let go of the white thread and pull in the direction that you're going, like so. Okay, and that's one buttonhole stitch. Bring the white thread back on top of the orange, put the thread in front and go underneath everything again and pull another buttonhole stitch closer to the bottom. Okay, and there's two. So there's your loop. This one's actually quite large, but you can see that there's a loop there, and then there's two buttonhole stitches just sitting in there. Okay, once you've pulled them fairly tight and lock them in, take your thread forward, return to the foundation threads at the bottom, and continue buttonholing to the end. I'm just going to do the first one before I pull out that orange thread. There's the first one. Might do one more. Just to lock them in place, like so. And there, you can see there's a little loop sitting just here on the orange thread. Take the orange thread away, and there's your little Venetian Picot sitting there with the two buttonhole stitches on the side. That little loop is rather large, but I'm sure you can see, hopefully you can see as I bring it forward up to closer to the camera. There's a little loop there. That's where the orange thread was in that little loop, and the two buttonhole stitches are sitting side by side. And I will now continue my buttonhole stitching to here. Okay, and then I'll go on and lay my buttonhole to there, lay my three foundation threads to there, buttonhole to there, and then do the picot on the end and continue round. Okay, thank you.